Hey kittens, it's Megan, and I am running out of time, so I'm going to be getting ready while I do a book babble for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am barely an 80s baby. I mean, I was born in 89, so I didn't actually grow up in the 80s, but I was raised by teenagers, or I was raised by people who were teenagers in the 80s. So I grew up with a love of video games, a love of great movies, and an even better love of the amazing music. But that being said, I'm not stuck in the 80s. Unlike the protagonist of today's book babble, we are talking about Armada by Ernest Cline. I wanted to like this book so much. One of the reasons why I decided my first book of the year was going to be Armada was because of my love of the book or film Ready Player One. And, well, actually it's both of them, not or. I absolutely loved Ready Player One. But I find myself very disappointed by Ernest Cline's follow-up novel. So Armada is the story of Zach Lightman. He is a high school senior with anger issues and an obsession with the 80s. Sound familiar? So one of the things that brings it out the 80s, I guess, in Zach is the fact that his father died when he was a baby and left behind a box filled with 80s things. And of course, you know, kid trying to get closer to his father who's been dead, doesn't want to talk to his mother because it hurts her feelings. He obsesses over what's in this box. And inside the box, there is a notebook that has theories. And when Zach first finds it, he thinks his father was nuts because spelled out in this notebook are theories that governments all over the world have been using video games to train kids, pretty much, to fight in an alien invasion. So Zach, of course, thinks his father's crazy until one day he sees one of the alien ships in his favorite video game, Armada, hovering above his school. Turns out his father was right, and that's exactly what the government has been doing. And Zach, because he is the 6th best Armada player in the world, is recruited and brought on to fight aliens. Now, that being said, it sounds like it would be a great book, just because I love the book Ender's Game, and I mean, that's kind of what happens. I mean, not necessarily them playing video games to prepare, but that's really the gist of Ender's Game. You know, a young boy has to save the world from an alien invader because he's good at a game. So that's sin number 1. Because Ernest Cline did not make it more original. He kind of just, you know, stole pretty much the plot and ran with it for half of the book Ender's Game. So that was kind of, it was something I was very annoyed with. So I have my notes on my phone here that I made while I was reading. So after reading Ready Player One and watching the movie, which I actually really liked both because it was kind of a fresh, well, not really fresh, but kind of a fresh from the decade book / movie. And I really did enjoy that. But honestly, Armada was really just more of the same. It had kind of this smorgasbord of 80s pop culture, and it's almost like, you know, Ernest Cline wanted so much to be relevant again that he took all of this 80s pop culture stuff and he just kind of threw it into the book, hoping something would stick. And it shows. Because this book, it was just lazy in storytelling, in my opinion. Because, I mean, the character, Zach, didn't have an original thought in his head for most of the book. And I say that, and I use an example. He couldn't even describe finding out about Armada being real without having to reference, you know, Superman. And I say that like it's a bad thing, but this kind of thing happens on every single freaking page. I mean, there really isn't any originality there. It's, the character can't express himself unless it's through like pop culture, which there are some people in the world like that, but they are the most annoying people I have ever met. And I can say that because I have been one of them in certain aspects of my life. I mean, Harry Potter, that's my pop culture, you know, sin. But Zach's character is so one-dimensional that nothing really affects him. It affects other people, but like when the alien invasion happens, nothing happens to him. And there's nothing, no conflict there to really drive me to like the character and show me what he's made of. He just kind of goes with it and thinks he's a hotshot, you know. Yeah, done right, that can be a good way to show a character. But there was no showing of the character. And Zach, the main character, at least had some semblance of a character. Everyone else in the story had the effectiveness of a wet paper bag. There was no conflict that they brought into the table that wasn't immediately resolved. There, you know, everything was way too convenient, which is a huge sin in my book. So sin number 2 or 9, I don't remember which one we're on. But I still wanted to give the book a chance. And even though I did want to speed it up so that I could get through it faster, I didn't, because I was going to be talking about it and I didn't want to, you know, kind of not do my job and give you my full review, which I'm actually not reviewing, it's a rant. Sorry about that. So back to the characters. And tying it back to the previous sin of not having an original thought in his head. He couldn't even introduce his mother without pulling up imagery of Ellen Ripley and, who was it? Sarah Connor. So 2 badass women, I grant you. But he couldn't say that about his mom. He had to talk about the other people first. I get it, it's the theme of the book, but still, way too much. There's a way to pay homage to the 80s, and then there's a way to jam it down people's throats, hoping that it'll be relevant again. And I realize that as a society, we have this problem of bringing back things from the past and thinking, oh, it's going to be better this time. I mean, we don't learn from our past. It's kind of, you know, I hate to say it like this, but it is. It's the charm of being a human. So, yeah. I really wanted to love it, but I just could not. Even the love interest was a hot gamer girl who was also a hacker who immediately felt something for the main character. There was no, you know, development. It was just, hey, you're hot. I have things in common with you because I like R2-D2. And they, you know, fall in love, supposedly. And lazy storytelling, because none of it was done in a cohesive manner. It was all using, you know, metaphors and similes and things like that from 80s pop culture. There was no originality there. It was, I like this person because she reminds me of this person in this movie, and unless you've seen that movie and seen that person, you have no idea what that person's like. There's no frame of reference for people who weren't raised on 80s culture. And so I realize that this whole thing has been negative. I am going to tell you guys, I gave it some love because I listened to the audiobook and it was narrated by Will Wheaton. And I absolutely adore Will Wheaton. I mean, I've heard he's kind of an asshole, but I know that's also because he has anxiety, and I suffer from anxiety myself. So, I mean, I can identify with that, but at the same time, I feel like I've just been babbling nonstop. No cohesion. Sorry about that. So we're going to get back into the plot sins here. And part of the plot sin is that everything was too convenient. The main character did not have to struggle. And struggling builds character. It's conflict. It's what drives your story. And like I said, the conflict was weak. The conflict, yeah, aliens are invading. Okay, I can get on board with that. What are the stakes for the main character? There really were no stakes. I mean, personally, if I were recruited for something like this and pulled away from my family, I would be worried about them the whole time. And I wouldn't be calling just to check in. I would be calling to check in and let my parents know where I am. I would be calling to be like, oh my gosh, this is coming. Get out of the house, get somewhere safe, you know, or hide in the basement, whatever. But it just, Zach really didn't care about anybody but Zach. So this book was really half-baked and overdone all at the same time. Like I said, I wanted to like it because I did love Ready Player One so much. But I just couldn't make myself like it. And that says something about me as a reader, I know, but it also says something about the actual story because a lot of people felt the same way. Like I said, it was tired, it was overdone and underdone and half-baked and just not cohesive, and the main character was very, very annoying. So those are the sins that I've totaled on this book. I realize, again, this is a rant, not a review, so I don't feel too badly about, you know, not actually giving a good review of the book like I wanted to, but it was not good. I mean, there's still some hope because this book was picked up to be a movie by Universal, I think. It's in production, I guess, this year, and so that says something, and I have hopes for the movie because, like I said, the movie Ready Player One was pretty good too, and that's personal opinion, not a critical opinion, just because it was fun. I went and saw it with my best friend. It's her favorite book, and I still don't feel bad about bad-mouthing this one. I hate to say it like that because I have been bad-mouthing it. I think that the characters were weak. The story was tired, overdone, way too chock full of 80s pop culture that could have been, you know, pulled back a little bit and still been just as effective. But that's what it is. Hey, Lucy. So that is my rant of the book. And I wanted so much to love it, but I just couldn't. Like I said though, hope for the movie, because explosions and fight scenes in space are better seen than read, or even in this case listened to. Just, it was tired and boring. So I did end up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars because it would have gotten 2, but it got 3 because it had a halfway decent editor and because it was narrated by Will Wheaton. And I totally forgot to curl my eyelashes. Oh well, I am not a makeup guru. I am a human. Not that makeup gurus are not human, but you know what I mean. Anyway. That is me done with my makeup. Yeah, so thanks for getting ready with me. Hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if you like book rants, let me know. If you want more structured book reviews, let me know that too. I was going to do a book review for you guys today, but I ran out of time because I overslept like a dummy. So yeah, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like what you heard, go ahead and click that subscribe button to follow my channel. And I really do want to hear from you guys. If you like this structure, if you prefer the more structured book reviews, just let me know in the comments down below. And if you've read Armada, what did you guys think? Was I too harsh? Was I too generous? I mean, I really do want to hear from you guys. So I will see you all in my next video. Bye!